What's up, guys? Welcome to Blake's Garage. It is gonna be like 109 out today, but I'm gonna be rebuilding the front suspension on my 5th gen 4Runner. I haven't seen any videos on this. I think everybody that does this takes their stuff to a shop and spends a hell of a lot of money. We are gonna do it ourselves. Why? Because, well, we're gonna save a hell of a lot of money, and because honestly, it shouldn't be that hard. I say it's not that hard. I haven't done it yet, so I don't know, but it really shouldn't be. It's a matter of 3 bolts, Total Chaos Fabrication bushings. We'll be taking these bolts off right down here and replacing the bushing down in there, and then, you know, re-greasing everything, bolting it down. We do have the cam tabs right there, so we're gonna basically mark those cam tabs and put them in the proper orientation. As you can see, mine are reinforced and tagged up and all of that, and that is definitely an upgrade you want to do. These monoballs, we're going to be changing out the monoball in the lower of the control arm. These things are beat, absolutely beat, and I will show you. And then we're going to be changing out the upper. I actually already swapped the lower from the upper of my driver's side because I replaced these ones about 1,000 miles ago, and it was well needed. My steering rack, literally, I changed out my steering rack. Pretty sure I edited up that video. If you guys haven't watched that, I do a whole power steering pump because I was like, maybe it's easier than the rack. That didn't work. Then I did the rack. Then I was still having issues, and it was actually those monoballs just being absolutely horrible. Took it over to Stellar to get it aligned, and I was like, dude, this doesn't feel normal, right? And they're like, no way. So anyways, I did the monoballs after that. They look like this. So these are kind of expensive, and so is this. But in reality, all of this is also very expensive. And then to boot, we're gonna do the boots, man. The boot on this CV is starting to leak. I was actually talking to Brennan about this the other day from Trail 4R. He's like, nah, dude, you're good. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's about to leak. And it's currently a spit grease right there. So we're toast on that. And I have RCVs on this car. We're also going to be rebuilding the RCV, and I'm going to get the orange guy on this side so, you know, we can match. But yeah, basically today's video is rebuilding Total Chaos Fabrication, upper control arms, lower control arms, and RCVs, which is, I mean, that's a whole upgrade in itself. Now, something I didn't think about until right now is that coilover. I don't know what the full droop out on that coilover is and how I'm gonna recompress that and get that back in there, but we will figure that out as we go. First things first, let's take off this tire and get the car jacked up. So guys, if you don't have one of these, this is like one of my favorite investments that I've made. The racer mat from Race Ramps, freaking awesome. It's basically a giant knee pad. I bring it to the racetrack with me with the M4 and whatnot. It's also great for doing any sort of project. Right now, we're gonna get this thing lifted up. I think I will lift it the cross member back here. That way we'll get full droop, and we'll just kind of be on the cross brace. In the air, we are drooped out. We're on the air on both sides. Try to get some sort of jack stand under here or whatever. Take a peek at this long travel. So we are on a +2 Total Chaos Fab, and this is what I'm talking about right here on this RCV. That boot starting to rip, and it's got a little bit of juice going, so like I just caught that. Power steering rack is good. We're gonna have to separate the tie rod, I'm pretty sure, here. Get this all drooped out, drooped down. First things first, I think we're gonna mess with the upper arm, kind of see how that goes. We got our limiting strap right here, which should actually help with reinstalling the coilover. Take off the top nut here. We're gonna do this upper monoball. We're kind of gonna let this thing flop a little bit. Stop from the top first, I guess. I think this is a 21. So you always gotta love this. The bottom is a 22 mil, but the top is a 13/16. So I'm gonna go ahead and bust that off. I feel like my upper control arm bushings are fine. It's maybe just my lowers seem more blown out than my upper. I think I'm only gonna do the lower. We got our monoball right here. You can see it's pretty loose. This one I'm not feeling there's a little bit of play in it. If you go up and down, I can feel a slight bit of play and movement. It should be pretty tight, and you shouldn't feel any jiggle in them. Kind of how you want to check them out. But you know, the best thing to do on these is probably change them out at a particular mileage. Since I've had the car, I put about 30K on it, and I have no idea how many miles were on this ahead of time. I went ahead and grabbed my tool roll from my Roam box. This has all my stuff in my little Morphlate bag. And then I also keep a Total Chaos Fab monoball replacement tool up there as well. This thing is worth its money. You could probably make one of these, but I think that it's very proper. I also have the socket for the axle nut and all that in here as well. But you know, this is kind of going to be one of those half-ass monoballs that I will probably keep just in case I ever, like, I don't know, destroyed one or shattered one or whatever. It would just be a spare. But in the future, I will, you know, buy some brand new ones to keep the older parts that aren't destroyed as spares up top in my Roam case, just in case something catastrophic happened on the trail. Snap ring at the bottom of here. Get away a little bit of that grease. Dry flow is what you guys should be using to lube these up. I'm not gonna lie, when I first got the car, I used a little WD-40, and that's not what you want to do. Probably screwed them up even worse. But this has a lock ring in it, and then we can start compressing out the monoball. Gotta love snap rings. We'll be back. Not gonna lie, I just made it look like I just got that right on camera. I did not. Pain in the ass. Get some really good snap ring pliers. These are some old Mac Tool ones. They're okay, but I would say they're worn out. They were my grandpa's, and Harbor Freight makes some really good kits nowadays that I think are comparable to like Mac and Snap-on. But anyways, that is the snap ring right there. We can do this part where we're gonna take out the threading on this. Is really nice. It's kind of like a worm gear type situation. You do it one way or the other way. So for taking it out, you're gonna put this one on top, and you're gonna loosen this up until you have enough thread to basically put it into this cup. So we're gonna be pressing it out into the cup. It's just same operation for reinstalling. So we'll go like that, and put this cup on, make the cup large enough. We need a little bit more thread here, and then we'll start using two big old wrenches. And if you wanted to, you could like move this up a little bit if you need to, but should be good. So we're solid on there. So we're gonna use one of these and one of those because I don't have a big enough one of these. I only have them up to like 1 inch or 30 mil or something like that, or you know, 22 mil or something, and it's not big enough. So yeah, we're gonna use this, and then I'm gonna use my other adjustable wrench. I have my little Morphlate tool roll, which most likely this tool will end up going in here, but this is what I carry in the top of my Roam case all the time on my 4Runner. And you know, these are your normal go-to. Here's some nice, you know, Klein tool. I'm an electrician, so I like the Klein stuff, and I have a lot of their older Klein stuff, and you know what, that's gonna work out just fine. But I don't have a ton of adjustments, so let's go ahead and well, let's try this out, apply some torque, and bust this monoball out of here. I like the amount of applied torque, and you can see the bite that it puts on here. The amount of the bite that it gets is very nice. So let's keep ripping on this. Almost out of there. Okay, I think monoball out. Let's see, we're almost there. Oh yeah, so that's also a cool little tool. Standard monoball, these things were going bad. You can feel it in here when it's in the arm, and you're feeling a little bit of vibration and stuff like that. But we got to change these out every once in a while. Plus there's quite a bit of resistance in this thing as well, so we'll get that out of there and get the new one compressed back in using the same tool. Total Chaos Fab, brand new monoballs. So guys, down below if you know where to purchase these for cheaper, because I want to say this was about $200 for this kit, which I know these are basically standard monoballs with Teflon lining in them. So I looked, I found something else. I didn't quite trust it just because the internet wasn't doing me a ton of justice. But anyways, we're gonna put these in. They don't go on any particular side or anything, so yeah, let's pop it in here. Put it kind of right in the bottom, the top. So we're compressing this to the top now. Enough room. Put the washer on here. Pressing that in. There shouldn't be a lot of resistance on this one. Should pretty much just be kind of sliding in there. If we do have a lot of resistance, we may need to basically readjust the monoball. Yeah, this thing almost like ratchets. It's really nice, the amount of grip it has. The teeth seem to be biting in very well. I like that. Here's the final applied torque bit. That's in there nice and tight. Now we can back that off. Get my hat out of the way. That icon tool, I'm liking it. I think it's pretty sweet. That's gonna go in my little repertoire of tools that'll go up in my roam case, because man, that thing's nice. I can just tell, you know, you can see how much more applied torque you can get also with that big ass handle. So pretty sweet. Excited to feel how much better my steering's gonna feel after this too, because it should feel a hell of a lot smoother, I'm hoping, because the other ones helped quite a bit on the other side. They're stiff, I can't move them, you know, but once it's all tightened down, it's going to be doing what it needs to do, which is nice. We have our bolt, our spacer here. Make sure there's not a lot of play there or anything, or else you're going to want to replace these. We put that down in here. That'll slide in. And you can see we have the tapered piece, which is going to go into the top of the spindle right here. Now, we might need to get a little bit of torque on this to move the threads. Oh, god damn! Monoballs are so tight at first. What the hell, man? Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna tighten and torque these down. So I'm gonna go ahead and bust off these 19 mils on the bottom. These are always a pain in the ass to get back in, just FYI. And then obviously I have torque tight on there to make sure, you know, nothing's gotten loose, and we'll do that again at the end. I'm gonna have to file down the end of this a little bit because the reds are a little jacked. I don't want it screwing up my nut, because that would not be good. It wasn't wanting to come off. Try to get the axle out of here. Pop this out. Let's pop it just like that. That's it right there. Cool. That's how you pop out the axle right there. Once you pop the axle out, then you can gain access to the, what is this, the 12 point right here on top of this lower monoball. Now I can feel this does not feel amazing. There's a little bit of play in here, like up and down movement. I can feel that. That's when you know, I mean, you should change it out before that, but, and you can also kind of feel it in the steering. Listen, if you hear that, that's going to transfer through all of our suspension off-road and everything like that, and basically every time we hit a bump. Easiest way to do this, because I'm going to be replacing both boots, open up this guy right here, because we're going to replace the inner and the outer. You can knock these off, but man, I had a real pain in the ass time with this last time, knocking it off also, so I don't screw up the threads, because those were already a little iffy a second ago. Let me go ahead and make sure. Oh man, this isn't great. Nice. Yeah, we're gonna put on the nut so these don't get damaged. But man, this is sketch. I don't know. That doesn't feel great. Milwaukee Tool does have a pretty cool new offering. I mean, it's not even that new anymore, but the USA made tools. So this one has USA made steel. It is nice and loose, which is good. I'm always looking for, you know, one that opens up really easy, but these are some side cutting pliers or side cutting dikes. Let's go ahead and pop on down here. I need to bust the bands off of the CV boots. So I'm gonna go about cutting those. Hopefully you can kind of see what I got going on here, but it's stainless. Okay. That allowed me to take off the band here. These are stainless steel, so I'm not sure if I can actually even cut this, being that it's stainless, but let's see. Oh yeah, actually that was pretty awesome. Give it again. Get back in the jaws here. Nice. Okay, That's cool. Let's go ahead. I'm breaking the, what you could call the, I don't know, clamps or whatever, the clips, CV clips, clamps, whatever. Keep the same distance here because, man, these ones worked quite a long time, so I'm just gonna keep the same distance. I know they're telling you to do 4 inches, and I already see quite a bit of wear on the other side from doing that 4-inch thing. Inner C-clip is out. We are a grease monster right now, so we gotta get a paper towel and we can pull the whole inner CV out. I'm gonna be replacing the boots on the RCVs on the Toyota 400. You must buy, unless you want to get these little things that is going to cost you way more money, RCV Ultimate Synthetic Moly Grease. Kind of expensive though, I'm not gonna lie. We basically opened up this top and we just squirt it in there, man. We go to town. We're gonna pull this old one apart. Obviously, all you guys have seen like installing a brand new RCV, but this is how we service the RCVs, which is, well, what you're gonna have to do if you want these fancy axles. So I went ahead and busted that off. I took off the C-clip in there. The other thing we're gonna wanna do is we gotta have our boots. So the inner, I'm gonna be running the orange because I feel like if you buy RCVs, you gotta run the orange. It's just kind of that look, man. We have the snap ring situation. What do we call these? The clamps. 2 of them, because most likely you're gonna screw one up. These are the new C-clips and everything that you're gonna be installing. They're recommending a new install of like 4 inches. What I'm noticing on these RCV boots is that because of the squash and like how it touches right here, it's actually putting premature wear, in my opinion. I actually think they need to be kind of ballooned out a little bit farther so that when they're flexed up, it's not touching as much. See, if it's like this, it's touching, and when it's out a little bit, it doesn't really touch as much right here. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. Basically, I'm gonna run the same distance as before. 12211-BK RCV high tip orange boot for Toyota, Jeep, and Hummer. This is Toyota and Ford IFS inboard boot kit for RCV axle set. This is the BT-136-BK. This is black. I want to say you can also order this in, I think you can order this in orange as well, but I'll go with the black one on here. But you can see the boots are a little bit larger as far as the inner and the outer goes. So, you know, just keep that in mind, that's what's going on there. With the inner boot, it came with another singular, which I wish it came with more. It came with a C-clip, the inner C-clip, the inner piece, and this, I forget what this inner little like brass C is. I forget what that's for, but if we see it in there, we'll replace it. If not, I don't remember using that, but we'll see when I rip it apart, right? So again, here are the parts. This is for the inner inboard. We have that, you know, retainment lock ring, which I got that greasy one over there, which we won't reuse. We got the outer for this little guy of the boot right there. Obviously the inner for the inside of the boot. This goes on that lock ring. This is to snap on the axle shaft itself. It basically kind of goes like right here in front of the CV. Like I said, I don't remember what that guy's for. This is the outer, right? So the outer with the hub there, we're going orange. We have these for the axle and the CV. This is the piece that you actually pop over. This is what you knock off in a vise and all that sort of stuff. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not replacing the outers. Last time I tried to do that, man, I didn't have a big enough hammer. I need like a 10-pound sludge or something and a better vise equipped to whack that thing off. I can't pop it out here. Okay, cool. Grease, and C-clips to expose the CV. Obviously be a great time to replace the driver's side. Mine was clicking, started to do some clicking, and I replaced that last time. So you can also kind of check that play right here. Mine still feels really tight between the balls. There's no excessive noise or anything like that, so we're good on this side. Oh, okay. Snap ring off. My God, this is greasy. Happy to see that this stuff is not black. It's still pretty gray. We'll compare it to the new grease, but yeah, we should be able to slip this boot off. Like I said, this thing will kind of go in a plastic baggie as a spare or something in case of emergency. I don't know, maybe I'll buy a new one, because honestly, I'd rather just have these on tap and do it once. Maybe just put some electrical tape on if it starts leaking, I don't know. Point, if you wanted to like replace the outer or whatever, you basically put the shaft in a vise, right? And you try to whack this completely off. You're trying to pull it over that little rounded piece of metal. I would grab it, but I showed it earlier. It looked kind of like this snap ring, but not exactly. It's just a round piece, no snap ring. It goes over that. Boom. So you're knocking it off the axle in the inner. So this outer still feels nice and tight. Now I gotta slip this boot over. We'll put it down here and then we'll kind of pack this full of grease again, but I want to have this close so I can kind of seal it up. We'll squirt a bunch of grease into the boot here itself. I just like to just take the tube and kind of go like this. You can see I just kind of pack this thing full. I'm gonna put the new piece about here. They say 4 inches. See, I think on the other one I kind of did a little tighter, but where it bends and it hits these bellows, I'll call them, we want to have it out a little bit to where we're not hitting them as much, I guess. That's just kind of how I feel about it. I think it'll wear less. So we got that kind of tight, and now we need to squeeze this on here to get our connection going. They're not my favorite. This is not my favorite tool, man. It's not my favorite tool. We gotta get as deep as we can and get it to bite both sides. I'm gonna try it both ways, see if the side's sharper, I don't know. Okay. Cool. That looks good on that. Nice and tight. We'll go ahead and clean this up a little bit from the grease bulging out. Boom, just like that. Grab the tool and try to get this to bite again. That last one felt good. I rotated the tool. I think one end of this is a little bit sharper than the other, and it made it bite pretty good. Because what ends up happening usually is I don't get an even clamp on both sides, which kind of makes me run into issues. Yeah, I'm gonna rotate. So one side just tends to go deeper. Cool. Okay, seems pretty good there. Slide it on here, making sure our orientation is correct like it was before. Now we got to get our new lock ring with a snap. Try to open it up and pop it on here. On this bolt for the uniball, we have a 5/8 12 point on the top of this bolt. So it's a high quality bolt, and well, it needs that, I guess. Bust that loose. Good to go there. Now we can access the monoball. We got that little sleeve piece here, and yeah, just a straight bolt up top, no washer, so that's kind of interesting. This piece out of the top. The old guy. Let's see if we can see the play. I could feel the play. Hopefully you can see that up and down movement. My other ones that I had were really bad, but you can see. So I'm gonna try to there's play in this, so. Okay, top and bottom. Like I said, I already did the other side, so that's good. Now I gotta see if I want to do the control arm too, which honestly, it's very hot and it doesn't sound too fun right now. Can't deny. All right, lock ring in. At that point where I just kind of put this back through all the pieces, everything like that, and I'm just leaving it loose. I need to now do my lower control arm. I am planning on changing out these bushings here, so I got to get these bolts undone. They are 22 millimeters. This one is a cam eccentric, where the backside is just the nut itself, so that means that when you spin this, it spins the cam eccentric bolt basically between here, and it moves the control arm back and forth. This is for basically changing the caster and camber on the control arm here. So pin real quick, and yeah, that is where I'm gonna put them back to, and then I'm gonna have to get an alignment afterwards. So we'll see what I can do with the lightweight jack. This one does not go as high as the Daytona out. That's literally max. So I think what I need to do is lower my primary jack a little bit, kind of see what that does. We'll just do that slowly. Wow, this jack is really hot. Okay. Went ahead and took that limit strap off. Now let's see how far this will droop, really. That's pretty far. That coilover goes pretty far down. That's pretty wild how much droop out we get. So something I can always change too is the amount of droop out in the suspension for the suspension cycle, which is kind of cool. But yeah, you don't want to blow out a CV too, because you've basically put in the beans on your CV, so you don't want to do that. Okay, the preload on the spring seems good because I can actually move the spring. So I guess we're good there. So I'll go ahead and remove that lower bolt on the coil. You can see coilover just literally moves. Alrighty, so 22 mil on the inside here. Knock it with the hammer, I guess, because this thing is toy like a toiga. Okay, I busted that loose with the 22 mil. Pretty much, bolt just comes out, and then you can obviously see how it's all greased up on the inside. Grease the bolt with the nut or with the Zerk fitting up top and whatever. So you do that with these bolts loose. You don't torque them down before. So see, obviously it's keyed for the cam on the other side. This cam's in, see? So like the same way. And that's the cam and how it adjusts. Only goes in one way, really. It has like a whole different kind of sleeve in the front. I don't know if that's stock or if that has to do with the Total Chaos, but hey, that is what it is, and that's how it'll be going back. But yeah, let's pop this control arm out now. It should just drop, I hope. There we go. Let's go ahead and swap out these bushings now. Or what? But there's the pin there. You can see, let's see how the, I guess the grease just comes out between the bushing itself. So let's see if we can't pull this out of here. Yeah, no kind of compression fitting needed or whatever. It just kind of pops out, which is cool. Realistically, this bushing looks fine. It's not these are the uppers from what I can tell. Okay, so for the first one, we're gonna go with the 60685. That goes on the inside here. And then for the second one, looks like this is a 60293, same as this bushing. Also, I think I gotta put some of this super lube. That goes, I think that goes on the outside of the bushing. Ideally, what you're trying to do is actually just use this. This should be solid, and your actual bushing is the part that's moving around this. So this should be like completely locked up, and then the bushing should be the part that's actually moving, not the pin and not the bolt. All right, so I went ahead and put some Teflon lubricant in there. Clean this one up, it's pretty dirty. Kind of dirty, is what it is. Press out the old grease. Pump her up. Tighten down. I'll tighten up this bolt. Wow, that's hot. Make sure there's a bunch in here. So yeah, got this clip. Good. All right, I'll go ahead and 35 millimeter chromoly socket. We'll run it on there slow. Make sure everything's cool. So that's all torqued on there. Let's go ahead and give that thing a whack. We got a new cotter pin. We just gotta tighten up these guys. These are always fun to align. I tend to do them with I tend to put this into the bottom of here. Wow, it's extremely windy. And then I line that up with this. That's kind of my little trick there. We normally have a limiting strap to limit how far this can come out, because this would give us possible issues with the CVs, but you can see I just tightened that up. Now we get to use that pry bar to get those in. Kind of tweak this a little bit as much as I can, kind of trying to get it lined up a little bit better. I do like working on 4Runners. They're a pretty awesome vehicle, if I do say so myself. Things do break, but everything breaks with abuse. So that's kind of where we're at. This thing's, it's pretty rough and tough, man. Took it through some pretty deep water and stuff. Water's obviously never good for anything. And we're good to go. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully no more broken stuff will happen. New project truck. If you guys haven't seen it, if I've announced it, I've announced it. If I haven't, I haven't. Check it out. Just went to pick and pull today. Had a fun time looking for things. Found out everybody wants these parts, so that's good. Means they're in demand, but it also sucks because it means they're in demand and hard to find. So anyways, we will talk to you guys soon. Later, and we're in until the next one.